and welcome to Savagely Delightful, a podcast exposing the schadenfreude nature in all of us. Each week, your co-hosts John and Christy will be coming at you with different stories of people making the kind of dumb mistakes that we all just love to hear about.
Hey everyone, I'm John.
And I'm Christy.
And welcome back to Savagely Delightful. We just want to start off the show with saying thank you to all of our supporters and all of our listeners. We love you guys so much, and the support that we're getting is absolutely mind-blowing.
It's awesome. You guys are great, and we love doing this, so thank you so much for everything.
It's honestly just so much fun to do, and we're just happy to make content that makes other people happy.
Yeah. We've gotten some reviews that it makes people smile, and like for the people that have submitted stories say that, you know, it's made their day to like hear their stories read out loud and like shared with everybody. So we just really appreciate it and love doing this. So you want to continue doing it?
Hell yeah.
First story.
So the first story today was submitted by Envy the Delta, and it starts: So I was by the sink washing dishes right before we were about to leave for a gig, and my friend made fun of the way I was saying marigold, the flower, and I jokingly kicked behind me to get him to stop. Turns out I smacked him right in the knee, and he starts screaming and trying to hold on to something, and I thought he was joking around with me because he normally does, but he was still continuing to scream after I laughed at him. Turns out I dislocated his knee and popped it out of socket.
Oh.
Minutes before we left to play a gig. This happened tonight, and he's still currently in so much pain because we had to go straight to the gig, and we currently just finished as I'm typing this.
What a fucking champ.
Right? He says, I feel awful because he had to stand this entire time on his leg.
How even?
Right? That's insane. Like, that had to suck so bad.
No way.
Like, I have a phantom pain in my knee right now, and it's, like, making my whole body cringe because I can, like, feel it.
And, like, the guilt that they must have felt.
Yeah. Well, if they're best friends and stuff, then, like, best friends have always hurt one another in one way or another.
I mean, I'm always have a guilty conscience, so I would feel terrible.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you obviously don't want to hurt him. But, like, you know, there's been many times with my best friend where we've accidentally, like, hurt each other, like, multiple times. One time, my best friend and I, when we were growing up, it was, like, really cool to set Axe on fire.
Everybody did that.
Exactly,
yes.
Yeah. And so one day, like, I had, like, sprayed them all down with Axe and, like, made a little spot on the floor. And I, like, called him out to the porch. And I was like, hey, come out here. And so as he walked out there, I lit that little spot on fire. It trailed up to him and caught his whole leg on fire. Singed all the hair off.
Oh,
like,
my gosh.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. He didn't have, like, any permanent damage. It was just, like, his leg hair. But, like, that's the kind of things that happen. Sometimes you burn their leg hair off. Sometimes you dislocate their knee on accident.
That's major. Yeah, that would suck so bad, though.
And then to have to go to play a gig?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Because either way, like...
That's a bad day.
Yeah, I'm assuming a gig is, like, you know, a band playing.
Yeah.
And so any instrument in the band, he's either standing on it or using it. And so it was just in constant pain that whole time.
Yeah, that would be so bad.
That had to be terrible.
Like, excruciating pain the whole time, and then how do you even focus on what you're playing?
Yeah, that's a good point. I wonder how he did, like, with, like, trying to focus on the music.
Yeah, because my brain would just shut off.
I'd be like, fuck this, I'm staying home. Like, you just popped my knee out of socket.
Yeah, that would be so rough. But, like, the venue that they probably played the gig at for, though, like, that's commitment. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But...
Ready for the next story?
I am. Okay, so this story comes to us from Bingo. And Bingo says, now that I finally had a little bit of physical cash in my pocket for the first time in a while, I decided to capitalize on a days-old hankering for McDonald's that I had had. Yes, I know, my body is a dumpster, what of it? And they go on
I feel
and
you. You gotta have those days sometimes.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Okay, so Bingo says, I ordered my meal, went to the first window, and tried to pay with exact change because of the national coin shortage. As I finally grabbed...
Kudos to you for looking out.
As I finally grabbed my coins in one hand, I gave the cashier my dollar bills in the other, and while she grabbed the $1 with ease, the 5 slipped out of both of our hands. I opened my door to grab it and made mistake number 1. I slammed my car door against the brick wall.
Oh, man.
The bill was just out of reach, though, so then I made mistake number 2. I leaned out of the car to grab it, taking my foot off the brakes.
Oh, no.
Now my car was moving forward with my leg still in it, simultaneously pulling me away from my cash and towards the car that was a few yards away at the second window.
No.
So there I am, hopping on one foot to get back into my car before it crashes into another one, and this $5 loss becomes a whole insurance thing. Which, like, I can just imagine that awkward, like, hop skip that you have to do when, like, one leg is tied up with something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that is the worst feeling, especially if your car is, like, hurtling towards another car and you need to catch up with it. That is the worst feeling.
I'm fixated on his door is open against a brick wall moving forward, so it's scraping down the brick wall.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
So much damage just to the car, just for $5.
It's not worth the insurance.
This is over $5.
It was obviously completely on accident.
Oh, yeah.
And so he couldn't control it, but that sucks so bad.
And I mean, when you're in the moment, too, you don't think about it in those terms.
Oh, not at all.
No. Okay, so he goes on to say, as I try to open my car more and slide back in, I continue to slam my door repeatedly against the brick wall, taking off chunks of paint each time. I get back into my own car a few feet before it hits the car in front of mine. Then I made a quick third mistake by immediately pressing on the gas when I meant to press the brakes.
You're meant to fail. That's what this is. You are meant to fail.
Fortunately, I course corrected before we actually collide, so no cars got damaged besides my own. The first
silver lining.
Right? Small sliver of a silver lining.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first good news is that the van behind me in line saw this whole thing go down and did not pull forward, which would have made things even messier. As things stood, I put my car in reverse and shamefully backed up to the first window, where the very concerned cashier watched on in horror. I fished out a second $5 bill and handed it to her, and for my troubles, she gave me about $1 discount on the whole meal because I was clearly having a bit of a day.
That's super sweet.
Now, 30 minutes later, I'm finally sitting down to eat with one bloody knuckle, and as I apparently punched the brick wall while trying to stop my car. What a shit show. But, like, I had to look it up because I didn't know that America was in a coin shortage right now.
Yeah, there's, like, those little sticky notes or just little signs on drive-thrus. On, like, every restaurant, it says, if you have exact change, please use that because it was a coin shortage.
Yeah, I had no idea. I guess that I haven't been to anywhere lately or something, because I have not noticed it at all. So I literally had to look it up, because I'm like, what country's in a coin shortage? Oh, it's my own.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people in our generation don't even use, like, cash anymore.
Yeah,
and whenever we
it's
do
all
have
card.
cash... Yeah, exactly. It's all card, debit, credit, whatever. But, like, if we do have cash, then we usually put it in a, what? A coin jar.
Yeah.
You save it up. Well, guess what? Everybody's doing that. So everyone's hoarding the coins, so that creates the coins shortage.
Well, and when I looked it up, too, it said that a major part of it was because the economy kind of slowing with COVID, because they're not producing as much coins as they were. And people are just holding on to their coins and they're not circulating. But that's just extra crap that I just didn't know.
I feel like I have a whole bunch of thoughts on coins and how they shouldn't be here, but they're here for a reason.
Yeah.
And I could go back and forth all day, but I'm not going to get into that right now.
Yeah. But in their story, they had compared themselves to, like, a slapstick comedy, which, like, once again, that made a little bit of sense to me, but I'm like, what exactly is slapstick comedy? So I looked it up, and it's like the Three Stooges, yeah. Charlie Chaplin. But that just made it so much more funny, because then you, like, think about the music behind it, like, as he's, like, trying to get his coins and, like, all his stuff and, like, catch up to his car and, like, just hilarious.
The $5 bill, flies out the car. He opens the door, slams on the brake, but it's actually the gas. He's like, whoop, 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 whoop.
Yeah. But at least he didn't crash into any other vehicles, because can you imagine then explaining that to your insurance?
Man, that'd just make an even bad day worse.
Yeah.
Like, it would just be so bad.
And then instead of that $5, you're paying extra monthly because of a car wreck on your insurance.
Exactly.
Ugh, so bad.
Yeah.
Okay, you ready for your second one?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
It is submitted by All of You More Than Life. It's a good one. It reminds me of the Popeye character, Olive. What's her name? It's olive oil. Olive oil. Yeah. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's right.
So the story starts out. This happened yesterday, and I'm still recovering. My body will eventually recover. My spirit may not. So I work in film, mostly art department. Yesterday, I was working on a commercial for an upcoming food series. We had people specifically for food art. They would cook and style all of the food that we need for the shots. After it was done and we were resetting the table, I would sometimes see the food artist eating what they were done with. This made me assume all the food was safe to eat. Working in film often consists of long days, and even though we're provided food, there isn't always a moment you can grab a snack. So, towards the end of the day, I was hungry. We finished up a shot, and some olives in this beautiful bowl were left out. I confirmed the olives were wrapped for the day and that they were no longer needed. I then decided to eat the olives.
Oh, no.
I had eaten a few in quick succession, so I didn't really realize that they had a weird taste at them, and I had already swallowed when the food artist starts freaking out. Oh my god, don't eat those. They're in wood polish.
What?
Apparently, to catch the light a little better, they put olives in some sort of industrial polish, which is why they tasted weird, which is then why I started to feel sick. Now, keep in mind, I didn't ingest a ton of polish because it was whatever was on the olives, but that didn't stop my body from rejecting it.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, that'd be awful.
That's got to have so many toxins in it.
Oh yeah, it's like lead paint.
Yeah.
Now, a few minutes later, I was vomiting in a tiny bathroom. We had a set medic on site, and they called poison control, and I ended up at the hospital just to be safe.
No.
I feel awful, but I'm okay.
Oh, because she wanted a snack.
Yeah, she was so hungry from shooting all day.
Yeah.
And she was like, well, I'm going to pop a couple of these. Her body just instantly rejected.
Oh, man.
And I've learned that through, like, various sources to never trust food on, like, TV or advertisements or something like that.
It's crazy how they make that stuff.
I mean, they have, like, so many different tricks to make the food look better than, like, what it is, but without, like, using actual food.
Yeah, it's rare that the food that you see on TV is actually the food that they're trying to portray.
Mm-hmm. I have a list of a couple of examples.
Oh, cool.
They actually paint the grill marks on burgers, and, like, they color burgers with shoe polish.
That's wild.
Yeah, to get, like, the perfect grill marks and stuff on them.
So what do they make the burger out of? Do you have that?
I mean, the burger is actually just a burger.
Oh, they paint on an actual burger?
Yeah, they cook the burger and
That's
then put
so
shoe
wild.
polish and then paint and grill marks on it to make it a perfect color.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
I figured it would be like foam or something.
Nope, just actual burger.
Huh.
But they just, they have to make it look all pretty and stuff.
Yeah.
And in cereal, they actually use glue instead of milk because the glue is more white and you can set the cereal in exact places where you want it to be.
Yeah.
And so it's like super white and the cereal looks exactly how you want it, so glue instead of milk. They put soap in beer to make it more foamy in commercials. So, like, if the beer doesn't get, like, the perfect amount of foam, they'll put, like, dish soap in it to make it more foamy.
That's, okay. Well, I was thinking about, like, the perfect pour or whatever has, like, an inch of foam, supposedly. So if you wanted...
Well, that's the perfect, like, real-world foam.
Yeah.
Not, like, for a view and pleasure.
Production value.
Exactly.
Especially if it's on set for that long. Yeah. And then it loses the foam.
Yeah, it gets flat, the carbonation.
To whip it back up. Okay. Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
For pancakes, they use motor oil instead of syrup.
Gross.
It's shinier. It's a little more transparent than like thick syrup, so you can see the pancakes through it, and it like has like the perfect consistency they want.
That's cool.
Right, and they put antacids and pop to make it more carbonated. So, like, they'll put the antacids in and then pour the pop so it, like, starts fizzing more.
And, like, you see the little pops of whatever off the top of it.
Exactly. And so, like, just from knowing all this, I wouldn't eat any of the food on set myself because I wouldn't, like, trust anything. It's like being stuck in the Matrix and wondering if, like, any of the food is real, not knowing if, like, it's safe to eat or not.
Yeah.
Because you don't know. You really don't.
Yeah, no.
And I also think that it would be, like, very overwhelming to be in, like, the TV / kind of food industry. Because, like, I don't know, like, you would get to see a much more in-depth to how people are controlled through, like, different, like, colors, effects, and, like, psychological tricks. Kind of how, like, the colors red and yellow make you hungry.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, most food chains have those kind of colors. And the way that commercials pour drinks is, like, the way the action shot is poured, it's supposed to make you thirsty.
Yeah.
Because it's supposed to look better to you. That's why, like, if you see a wine or a beer or anything poured on a commercial, you're like, that looks so good right now because there's a psychological trick that makes you want that.
Yeah, I would trust nothing.
Oh, yeah, nothing at all.
Nothing and no one.
And just being around, like, all of that would make me very distrusting of people and the things of what their true intentions are. Like, I know companies are trying to sell a product, but to go to such lengths to be tricking, like, the masses' psychosis is very immoral to me.
I mean, that's just like with anything, though. Everything has to look perfect and all this. Well, it's not realistic.
They have to literally trick your psyche to make you want it.
Yeah, it's not realistic at all.
It's not. It's messed up. So I don't blame you for eating the olives because they probably looked fucking delicious.
Yeah. They were the prettiest olives you've ever seen in your life.
Probably ever will.
Yeah.
They actually also spray on deodorant, like spray deodorant onto foods to make them more shiny, more appealing.
Gross.
Yeah, so eat that. But don't eat that. That's bad.
Yeah, no.
All right, you ready for your second story?
I am. So my second story comes to us from Isaac.
Hi, Isaac.
Hi, Isaac. Isaac says, this happened a few years ago. I was traveling in Nepal with a group from my college. We were spending about 3 weeks helping out a school there and doing teaching, construction, agriculture stuff, and whatever else needed to be done. Public education in the area wasn't very good, so this school was considered to be a sort of tuition-free private school. In order to function, it ran largely on volunteers from both the surrounding area and from around the world. For volunteers who didn't live in the area, there was a large shared bunkhouse of sorts. This bunkhouse was made out of mud bricks and had 2 floors. It had windows, but the windows didn't have glass in them, so rats, bugs, etc. could be an issue sometimes.
Oh.
It was also just generally pretty grimy. The first day that we get there, I pick up a sleeping spot near one of the windows. I set all my stuff down and unpack a little, including a small toiletry bag I use to hold my toothbrush and medications when I'm traveling. The windowsill is pretty wide and makes a good shelf, so I set the toiletry bag down there. I would be as far away from that window as I could be.
Oh, yeah.
If rats and, like, different bugs and stuff used that to get in and out, I am not being in their way. Like, that would be good for airflow, for sure, but for rats and bugs, no way.
Oh, yeah. It also kind of reminds me of band camp because, like, we used to have to take all of our toiletries and stuff whenever we went to, like, the bunkhouses at wherever we went to that year for band camp. But we used to have to take all of our toiletries and, like, set them by our bedside and stuff.
Yeah.
And like, it wasn't the most secure bunkhouse ever.
It ain't Nepal, though.
But, yeah, it isn't Nepal.
Yeah. Okay. So Isaac continues and says, fast forward to that evening. It's about 3 a.m. and we had all been sitting and chatting around a campfire for most of the evening. I had a bad cold and had run out of tissues, so I figured it was time to go to bed. I went upstairs in the bunkhouse, grabbed my toiletry bag, and brought it back outside to the little external sink area to brush my teeth and do my meds. And after that, they brushed their teeth, and there was a bug in it.
Oh, God, no. No.
Just kidding. Everybody, this is a reference from episode 4. If you haven't listened to episode 4, it's great. you need to. So
it's hilarious and gross. Go check it out.
Yeah, that's all we're going to say about that. But for sure, episode 4 is amazing. So what Isaac actually says is, I have pretty bad asthma, so I take an inhaled corticosteroid twice a day. At this point, I just do it on autopilot before brushing my teeth. I'm standing outside at the sink wearing a headlamp so I can roughly see what I'm doing and take my inhaler. As I breathe in, I feel a couple small somethings fly into my mouth.
Oh, God.
I don't think it's a huge deal because every so often a little dirt will get in the inhaler.
I would think it's a huge deal.
I mean, I have an inhaler. I have asthma too. Like, yeah, every once in a while you get like a few specks of like just loose whatever. So like, I get that. But what actually happened, Isaac says, I decide to look anyways, though, and see that the mouthpiece of the inhaler is absolutely crawling with ants.
Oh, God. Oh, God, no. He just put his mouth on ants and then inhaled the whole thing.
Inhaled ants.
Oh, man. Wait, like, are they still alive, like, in his lungs?
Oh, yeah. Like, I mean, you would imagine until they're, like, drowned by, like, mucus or
air?
something. Stomach bile.
There's not stomach bile in your lungs.
Oh, you're right. I don't know.
There's like bronchial tubes and like air sacs and a whole bunch of stuff.
Can you imagine ants crawling around on your uvula?
Nope. Just kill myself.
Right?
End it right there. I'm done.
So bad.
I'm out.
So Isaac says, my sleep-deprived, sick brain decides that I need to go to bed as soon as possible. And instead of freaking out like I would have thought, I handle the situation surprisingly logically. I gave a couple good coughs to make sure any ants are out of my lungs and gnash my teeth around a bit to make sure any ants in my mouth are good and dead.
Oh, man.
So gross.
Good for you, but that's fucking nasty.
Yeah, there's no way.
They like go in, you cough them up, and they're like, hey, we're back. And like, yeah, thanks for the ride. Nom, 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 nom.
So gross. After rinsing with some water, I squished all the ants that I could reach with my finger in the mouthpiece of the inhaler and rinsed that out too. I brushed my teeth, went to bed, and continued using the inhaler for the next month. I stored my toiletry bag under like 5 layers for the rest of the trip and kept everything far away from the windowsill.
Nope, just leave.
But like that's... fun way to, like, realize a new fear, Isaac. Thanks a lot. Like,
yeah.
That is... Oh.
Yeah, every time you have to use yours now, you're going to be checking it.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to check everywhere.
And Isaac's probably just, like, disinfecting all of his shit now. Like, wiping it off. Oh, yeah. And as soon as he got back to wherever, he probably just, like, went and got a new inhaler.
Oh, absolutely.
Fuck this. I'm out. New one.
Yeah.
I'm out. Like, there's no way.
You gotta do what you gotta do while you're away from home, though. But, like, this is another example where, like, he was so calm.
Yeah.
With this happening.
That's very impressive. That is.
Insane. We also had another example with, like, a bug story in episode 2 of somebody staying calm with different bugs everywhere, and I don't get it.
Well, sometimes, like, you know how you have, like, that flight or fight response?
Yeah.
Sometimes people just go, doesn't matter what I feel or think or do right now.
You just have to deal with it.
You're goal-oriented. You go boom, 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 get it done, out of the way. And usually that's when the happy result happens, like he did. You don't freak out. You cough it back up, chew it, make sure it's all done out of you. Now you're safe. Then you can take a deep breath and freak out like everyone else.
But yeah, that's like realizing a new fear. It was ants in my inhaler or something.
Yeah, thanks, Isaac.
And then breathing that in. No, I hate it so much. Thanks, Isaac. I hate it. John, do you want to go to our next?
So, my third story for the night was submitted by Luna the Ferret. So, they start off with, this all started last weekend when I got up on Saturday and got out my supplements. A couple fish oil capsules and some vitamin D3. I swear I remember setting them down on my nightstand, then I went to go get water and promptly forgot to take them. I remember not too long after I went to take them and they were gone. Okay, I looked everywhere. I could not find them.
See if they like rolled off somewhere or something.
Yeah, I would think they just rolled off like the countertop onto the floor or something. But they said they looked everywhere.
Gotcha. Okay.
They said, I could not find them. After 10 minutes, I started doubting I even got them out in the first place. Okay, whatever. I got out some more. The other ones will turn up, right? Boy, did they ever.
Oh, no.
This evening, I started my laundry. My first load is done. I transferred it to the dryer, and when it's finished, I opened my dryer and immediately knew my fuck up. The entire load absolutely reeked like warm fish oil.
Oh, no.
I just restarted that load in the washer for the 4th time. I added lots of vinegar and borax in addition to laundry soap. I hope it works this time. I can't imagine. You completely forget about it and then just doing laundry.
Yeah.
Open it up and it smells like you just dried a fish in your dryer.
Yeah, and those do smell so bad. I can't... Yeah, how would you... That would take so long to get that smell out.
Right? I mean, like, we've all walked into a room and, like, forgotten why we were there. Or, like, looking for something, we were holding it in our hand the whole time. Everyone's done that. But I can't say that I've destroyed all my clothes with, like, a fish oil pill.
Oh, no.
Like, that is not a pleasant smell to be stuck with.
Yeah.
And any kind of oil, like, doesn't come out easily.
No, it doesn't.
No. So, we were actually still in touch with Luna, and they informed us that even after the 4th wash, they could still smell it.
Ugh.
So they decided to run the washing machine on, like, the deep clean cycle that makes the water super hot, that it sanitizes the load. Well, they didn't realize that they had a burgundy-colored sweater in there, so half of the load was dyed burgundy, and the fish smell just never came out.
So now everything is dyed and smelly.
Yeah, like, they just can't win. Like, one time I accidentally dyed a $5 bill once, but, like, I dyed it, like, pink on accident, but I've never dyed an entire load that smelled like fish oil.
I mean, nobody has.
Yeah, that's
Luna, you poor soul.
Yeah, you gotta take the L on that one. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. We might have to get rid of those clothes. It's gonna be like 20 washes later.
Still smelling.
Yeah.
You dry the next load. The next load smells because now it's just in your dryer.
Oh no, yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah, it probably is.
That's not gonna go away.
Yeah.
Throw the whole thing out. Get a new dryer.
Oh man. You poor thing, Luna.
You ready for the next one?
Okay, so my third story is from Jaline from the Netherlands. And she was amazing. I will tell you guys, she is a hoot. Okay, so she writes and says, I had a job interview with a CEO in person despite COVID. I was super nervous as per usual, maybe even more than usual, because I really wanted this job. I tried to calm myself down, but by the time that the interviewer showed up, I could literally feel my heartbeat in my throat. He's a male in about his 50s and walked down the stairs towards me in his nice suit, but stopped halfway down. I figured the interview would probably take place upstairs, so I got up to meet him. And as I was walking up the stairs towards him, he put his arm up and his elbow out. And my brain just sort of went, error. I suppose this could have meant one of two things. It could have meant A, please take my arm, milady, so I can escort you to the room as if we're strolling down the promenade together. Nope. Which I had to look up. A promenade is like a paved like sidewalk.
Yeah.
Or something. I had no idea, so just wanted to specify. Okay. So, to rewind a tad, she says, I suppose it could only have meant one of two things. It could have meant A, please take my arm, milady, so I can escort you to the room as if we're strolling down the promenade together. Or B, please give me an elbow bump since we can't shake hands. Which is really not an uncommon gesture at all in the Netherlands.
COVID has made everything weird.
So, but this is weird too. So what did I do? Yes, I went with option A, and I eagerly locked arms with this strange man that I'd never met before in my life. As if saying, yes, good sir, let's go for that stroll. And then we just stood there, arm in arm, halfway up the stairs, sheepishly staring at each other. I wanted the earth to swallow me whole. I just didn't know what to do next, and I don't think he fully understood what had happened, so neither of us moved.
You're just standing there locked arms with your future boss, hopefully.
And it would feel like eternity, too, while this was happening.
You're both thinking, error, what do I do?
So she goes on to say, when he'd finally gathered his senses, he said, I meant to give you an elbow bump. After which I quickly put as much distance between us as I could and mumbled, right, yes, that makes much more sense. Because it did, let's face it.
Yeah.
And then we had the interview. Which, like, so she locked arms with this guy like they were, like, on the Wizard of Oz and gonna go find Oz together.
But it's a great icebreaker.
He won't forget her.
Yeah, exactly.
He will never forget.
That's a great way to make a statement in an interview. Like, well, there is one girl that was so polite that she just kind of locked arms with me.
Yeah, super friendly. Okay, so she did follow up with this story and say that she did get a second interview. So fingers crossed you get the job. We're all pulling for you.
Yeah, hopefully you get it.
Super awesome. But then I kept reading on, and there was a comment on this story that had said, so like a totally different person was who this was by. And they said, years ago, I was in a brief and informal meeting where most of us were standing. I was next to one of the owners and his hand slightly touched mine, most likely by mistake as he was shifting his stance. I, for some odd reason, took that brief contact as a sign to hold his hand. It lasted like 2 seconds, but it was so awkward.
What? Why would you do that?
This was nearly 20 years ago, and it still haunts me. Why would I hold his hand?
Like, I understand, like, if I'm standing by you or something and your hand brushes me, yeah, I'm going straight for holding your hand. But you're...
Because we're a couple.
Exactly. But, like, if you're at an interview, you're like, this is nice. And just hold that.
It's just crazy what the brain can go from, like, point A to point B and, like, connect them, but it's not in the right way.
No,
like,
not at all.
It's so funny to me how the brain can just, like, answer it like that, but it's totally wrong.
Yeah. I mean... Yeah.
They're like, this means this. Yes, go.
Yep. Hold the hand. Shit. Yes. No, don't hold the hand. Yeah. Don't hold the hand. You fucked up.
Lock arms. You're best friends. Go. Like,
that's awesome.
It's great.
Like you said, they're memorable. Hopefully, one got a second interview.
Yeah. They'll never forget you. You're great.
Oh, yeah. That's
Keep
awesome.
It up. Yeah.
All right. My fourth story?
Yep. I'm ready.
All right. So this one was submitted by Obi-Wan2577.
Love the name.
Right? May the force be with you.
Yeah.
And it says, today I fucked up by shooting myself in the hand.
Damn.
Okay. So before we get into all this, I just want to say, if you own a firearm, please follow the firearm rules. I'm not going to make this a huge thing, but treat every weapon as if it were loaded. Never point a weapon at anything you do not intend to shoot. Keep your finger straight off the trigger until you are ready to fire. And keep your weapon on safe until you intend to fire. If you follow these rules, accidents are much less likely to occur. So please do not be a dumbass and stay safe. I just want to say, gun safety is huge, and just please stay safe. They are dangerous, but you just need to learn how to control them properly. So, along with the story. So, some backstory to this. My dad wanted me to keep a gun on myself anytime I went outside of our property for the rest of the week, because we've had some trouble with people coming near our house and land unbeknownst to us.
Oh, that sucks.
Right? Now, for the actual story. So today was real normal. Get up for online school, eat breakfast, shower, morning stuff. But today was different. My dad wanted me to take our .357 Magnum revolver out of the safe so I had a gun ready for any time I left our house. Keep in mind that I didn't take it off our property. I go outside for a walk in the woods like normal besides the gun. We're close to the effed up part now. I take the revolver out of its holster to get a feel for its weight and how the hammer feels. I cock it and uncock it, feeling pretty confident with the hammer, but it slips out of my control, hitting the firing pin.
Fuck.
Just barely too hard to send the primer firing a round off into the distance.
Mm-mm.
Anyone who knows things about revolvers and knows how revolvers work knows that the cylinder holding the rounds isn't touching the barrel, so it creates kind of an air pressure blast out of the sides too. The fucked up part, my hand is next to the front of the cylinder, which blows the top of my ring finger to shreds, and the palm is burned severely.
My gosh.
I freak out because I've basically been shot without a projectile, and it's bloody as hell. I go inside and clean it up to find out that I can see the muscle in my finger. This is kind of gory, sorry.
Oh, yes it is.
I sterilize it, get some bandages, some gauze around it, and end up missing 2 of my classes. This is what happened as of now, so I'll update you if anything happens.
Obi-Wan, stick with the lightsaber.
Yeah, get a blaster.
Fucking hell.
Damn, bro.
I never thought about that, though, with the air pressure.
I mean,
with a revolver.
Yeah, what happens is, you shoot it, the bullet goes down the barrel, but the air pressure shoots out the side. And it's very high pressure because, if you get high enough air pressure, I mean, it can cut through metal.
Yeah.
No problem. But, I can't stress this enough. If you're going to carry a weapon, please be familiarized with it. And if you're going to get familiar with it, please have somebody around that knows what they're doing. Like I said beforehand, gun safety is huge, and a lot less accidents happen whenever you're properly prepared for the situation. This person obviously didn't have the proper training with a revolver and paid the consequences for carrying a weapon they're not familiar with. So please get familiarized with weapons before you carry them. But if you're holding it properly, you would have never had your hand close to the cylinder, especially while cocking the hammer back, and the air pressure shooting out of the sides would have stripped your skin off. I'm so sorry that happened to you. It had to be super painful, but please be familiarized with a weapon while it's not loaded so you can be ready when it is loaded, and then follow the gun safety rules so that accidents like this do not happen. Please, please, please. That's all I just want to say. I'm not trying to hound you for anything. Like I said, I'm so sorry that it happened to you, but gun safety is number 1 when owning a firearm.
Obi-Wan, stick to lightsabers.
General Kenobi.
Okay, so you ready for my 4th?
I am. Let's go.
Okay. This comes to us from Kelsey. Okay, so Kelsey says, so this was quite a few years ago now, but I still think about it and I feel awful. So I used to work in a pub where there were 2 sections. The lower section of the pub was for adults only, to drink and eat without the annoyance of children running around and making a ruckus. The upper section was for families with children. One night.
Sounds perfect.
Well, I mean, that's how a lot of restaurants are, and it really is great. It's a good system. Okay, so Kelsey says, one night, it's quite busy, and I'm doing my walk around the pub and collecting empty glasses. I'm in the lower section of the pub, and I spot a blonde woman sitting with what looked like a 5 to 6-year-old blonde girl. Her back was facing me, so I couldn't see her face. Now, normally, I wouldn't have said anything, but being as the general manager was on shift, I didn't really have a choice. So I go over and speak with the blonde woman, and I say, "Hello, I'm sorry, but children are not permitted in this area of the pub. We have seating in the upper section." The quote-unquote little girl turned around to face me. My heart stopped. I started sweating profusely, and I must have gone as red as a tomato. It turned out that the quote-unquote little girl was actually a little person.
Oh, man. Damn.
Kelsey says she must have been about 30 years old.
Shit.
I completely froze as she just stared at me with a face of disgust. Understandably.
Yeah.
After what seemed like a year of my life, but was probably only about 3 seconds, I apologized and offered her a complimentary beverage. She declined. I apologized again and walked into the glass room. I sat down on the floor, put my face in my hands, and prayed for the ground to swallow me up.
Honest mistake.
Honest mistake. Like, that probably happens to little people all the time, which is unfortunate.
It is.
Super unfortunate, but it's not like you hadn't meant to, and you apologize for it. It was an honest mistake. But it was probably just like a snap judgment of thinking like, oh, it's a smaller person, like I need to say something and take control of the situation.
Yeah.
And without seeing her face, like it unfortunately happened, but just remember, everybody, what assuming does. It makes an ass out of you and me.
Oh, yeah.
So just try and check your bases first. But like I said, it was probably a snap judgment. She had no idea.
Yeah, she was mortified after that.
But yeah, but it also makes me wonder if this is the type of pub where they seat themselves or if somebody else has to seat them.
Yeah, that's true.
And how that would play into it. But I think it's also funny that she had said that she was trying to do her job right for once and then offended someone.
Yeah.
So what's another thing we learned today, people? Don't try.
Don't try and fight your boss.
Just kidding. I am such a tryhard. It's ridiculous.
That's true. Yeah, you try doing your job and then just get kicked in the nuts for
Backfires
it.
immensely.
Yeah. You poor person. Oh, that sucks. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. But those were our stories for today.
Thank you for tuning in to episode number 5.
Thank you, everybody. We love you all. Once again, please don't forget to rate and review us, especially on iTunes. That'll help get the word out. Share us with your friends, all that.
And if you have a story, submit it to savagellydelightful@gmail.com, and we'll read it and get back to you as soon as we can.
Yep. All our social handles are on the outro. So we'll see you there. Thank you, everybody. We love you.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
So, you may have made a mistake today, but at least you didn't mess up as badly as the people we discussed. And if you did, we'd love to hear about it, and we may even feature your story on an upcoming episode. You can find us online at www.savagellydelightful.buzzsprout.com, on Twitter at savage_delight, and on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at savagellydelightful. If you like what you heard today and want to show your support, please consider donating to us on Patreon at patreon.com/savagellydelightful. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss future episode releases, and please consider leaving a review so it's easier for others to find our podcast.